How's it going, everybody? This is Maxwell McGee here at the San Diego Comic-Con. We're checking out Capcom's booth where I'm talking with Capcom Special Advisor Seth Killian. Seth, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you.
So we're checking out Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A lot of fans at home excited about this. What are you guys officially showing off here today?
Well, let's say this. Who do we have playable here today? How about that? Well, of course, we've got the entire returning cast, but we've also got 4 new characters playable here today. On the Marvel side, we've got Hawkeye, Ghost Rider, one of my personal favorites, Firebrand from the Ghosts and Goblins series, sort of one of the guys who plagued Arthur on his quest, probably the most annoying enemy in the whole game, and he's quite annoying here as well. And then, of course, Strider Hiryu, one of the most popular characters, one of our biggest fan requests. He's back as well, very much in tune with his Marvel vs. Capcom 2 incarnation.
All right, very nice. So, obviously, in addition to the characters that you're showing off here today, there's also been a few leaked images of some other characters. Can you comment at all about that?
To quote Seinfeld, that maybe people don't remember, they are real and they are gorgeous. We're not prepared to talk at length about those guys right now, but they're out there and pretty proud of the characters, so hoping we can let people get hands-on with those in the coming time. But right now, this is what we got to show you, and we'll go from there.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. So what we can talk about is changes to X Factors. I understand it's going to be tweaked. It's going to be just a little bit different in this incarnation. What can you tell us about that?
So overall, the damage on X Factor is going down a little bit, and it's also been sort of normalized across the board for all characters, so it's not going to be that somebody's getting a particularly large boost versus other characters. But the big thing is that you can now activate an X Factor in the air. That's kind of nerdy for people that don't follow Marvel vs. Capcom 3 closely or didn't play the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But it really makes a big difference. It not only lets your air combos become really a lot crazier, it also allows you defensively to escape some situations that came up in the original one that were really nasty. Now you can X Factor your way out of those if you need to.
I also noticed in the release trailer you guys were showing off certain characters such as Ryu and his Super Hadouken. I saw it bouncing off the wall. Spencer seemed to have a new dive attack. Are all the previous roster members going to be getting little tweaks and changes in this release?
So short answer is nobody is immune from the world of changes. So in this build, there are many characters that do have those kinds of changes. We're letting people figure those out on their own right now. Some characters, as you saw, will have brand new moves, even new super moves and things like that. Other characters will get more subtle tweaks. And that's the way it is right now. Again, the game's still in development, so it may change over time. Things may shift. But we're probably not going to take new moves away that we made, especially the moves you've seen already, I don't think are going to go anywhere. But all the details may be changing a little bit, but right now everybody's going to be a little subtly different on up to larger changes like you saw with Ryu and the Bionic Commando here today.
Now, what can you tell us about any tweaks you guys have planned for single player? Any new additions for the training mode? Anything you're expanding on with the campaign? Anything like that?
Well, we'll see where we get to in terms of development, but you got to let us hold back a little something. It's been a big day in terms of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 news already, so we'll see where we're going with that in a few months.
All right, now back with the characters, on the topic of character selection. I remember back when Capcom Unity had a poll for to let fans decide which characters they'd like to see possibly in a Versus game, and I noticed some of the top Marvel contenders weren't really represented in what we've seen for this edition. Can you comment at all about that?
Well, sure. I mean, there's a few points. One, although we looked at that poll very closely and it had a lot of votes and activity, so we respected the results, but that wasn't actually an official Capcom poll. It was on Capcom Unity, but just put up there by a fan. That doesn't mean it doesn't count, but in the past what we've done before is to have a poll where we say, hey, if you guys tell us which character you want from this list, we'll actually put him in the game. We did that with Street Fighter 4, and we got an actual response, and we followed through with it, and that character was Cammy. We did that. She's been with us ever since. This was a more informal fan poll. On the Capcom side, we looked at that very closely and tried to respect a lot of those wishes. But Marvel is its own company, and they have ultimately control over the Marvel characters. So it's something we talked over with them. But they have reasons to be in love with certain characters at certain times. They're blowing up in the comics or the movies or whatever it might be. And at the end of the day, even if it's not the character that you were particularly hoping for, we hope people will give the character a chance and actually play them, because that's where the fun is. And the characters that I ended up playing most in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and having the most fun with weren't the characters that I was excited about necessarily as characters, but they just turned out to be a lot of fun. And so I think people may have that same experience.
So there might be a few characters in there that'll surprise you.
After today, maybe not. But yeah, I think as far as play style and getting fun stuff to do, there's a lot of surprises in store, even for the characters on the Marvel side that people are less familiar with. Are like, what's this guy gonna do? Just wait, they do some amazing stuff.
Now, is there any sort of a bonus or an extra incentive for people who own the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3 going into Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom?
Good question. We'll see where we end up there. It's something on our minds right now, but again, we're still quite a ways away from the release of this game, so we'll have to get there.
And on the topic of release, Seth, is there anything you can tell us about when this game might be coming out?
Pretty soon. Not super soon. I don't actually know what the release date might be yet, but we're going to try and get it into people's hands as soon as we possibly can.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. So there you have it, folks. A look at Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. As always, stay tuned for more information.